Welcome to everyone. This is just going to be a brief recap of the upcoming fight card. I got to say, I was 11 out of 12. I mean, technically, I didn't lose any money because my bookie refunds you money when it's a draw, which to some point is pretty much fair. But from what I've seen, I got to say that UFC 282 was a real carnage, a real bloodbath, and we've seen some great performances. My first bet was Cameron Simon, who defeated Steven Kozlov via KO TKO. But Steven Kozlov used to be a very good fighter. He used to be a very good fighter prior to this third round TKO. Then got TJ Brown versus Eric Silva. Fight starts round three, where TJ Brown defeated his opponent via submission. Billy Carantillo versus Alexander Hernandez for me was the fight of the night. But if I had to pick one side, I picked Carantillo. Carantillo won, so I hooped to 3-3. Then Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. People said, "What are you gonna pick?" I'm gonna say no distance or Chris Curtis to win. And yeah, I was pretty much confident in Chris Curtis that he was gonna win, despite being down on the scorecards. Chris Curtis did an amazing job. Chris Curtis did an amazing despite being down on the scorecards, despite having a hard time with his opponent. I got to say it was a nice piece of play, really much nice piece of play, and got to say, really enjoyed every single second of it. Then Edmund Shabazian versus Dalkalon Gambula. I had Edmund Shabazian to win that one, and it actually played out pretty much nicely for me. Dalko is gonna get cut. Both fighters were riding on a three-fight losing skid, and that was pretty much something that inspired. And then they were fighting to remain in the promotion. Then we seen Jairzinho Rozenstruik knocking out Chris Dakos via sprinting elite punch, and that's one of the moves I've seen, one of the most legendary moves I've ever seen. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik, I had no distance on that fight, so my bets were 2 out of 2. Then Raul Rosas Jr., the debut of the super talented kid, he submitted his opponent. Pretty much easy submission win for Raul Rosas Jr. From what I've seen, Raul Rosas Jr. showcased some high level skills, some high level performance, and his BGG is gonna rock. If that guy improves his striking, he's going to be the assassin, he's going to be the killer, and he's going to be one of the best in the game. I got to say, he's going to be one of the best in the game. Then Ilya Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell. Ilya Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell was a great fight. I said Ilya Topuria to win the fight, not going the distance, and Ilya Topuria showcased some high-level punches, and he stuffed majority of takedowns, and then finished Bryce Mitchell via submission in the second round, which was a big surprise for me. I was pretty much stunned when I've seen that. And Dricus du Plessis versus Darren Till. Dricus du Plessis won via submission. But Darren Till showcased some high volume, and Darren Till looked pretty much solid in that fight until that round three, when I thought everything was gonna go to judges' scorecards. I had no distance for Du Plessis to win, and Du Plessis was able to win that fight. So hats off to Du Plessis. I really got to say hats off to Du Plessis, and Du Plessis really did a great job by winning that fight. Really great performance it was by Dricus du Plessis. Then the next fight, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Morono. I had fights to start round 3 or over 2.5. I was pretty much non-confident because Morono accepted on a short notice, and I was saying to everybody, just stay away from that fight, pretty much stay away from that fight, and that's how it played out. I didn't bet on that fight, but we've seen a great performance, a great finish from Santiago Ponzinibbio. Pretty much big wave in overhand right. But Morono is a brave kid. He accepted that fight on a 5 days notice, and maybe he was off his training camp. I don't know. Maybe he didn't train properly. I mean, when you accept the bout on short notice, you are always in problem. You are always having a hard time with that, and we can't blame him. Santiago Ponzinibbio was set to fight Robbie Lawler, which didn't come to fruition. And then the next fight, the most controversial fight on the card, Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. I've got to say that Paddy Pimblett didn't win that fight. I had it 2-1 for Gordon. I will have a video that will elaborate everything. So I need to say that this video is going to be, I'm gonna get criticized by Paddy Pimblett fans, but he didn't win that fight. Even Dana White said that he didn't win. So I'm going to explain it in another video. Then Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, which ended in a split draw. Technically, maybe Blachowicz really won the first 3 rounds. I was thinking, and Blachowicz really made a bit more damage. Now, people are going to say that I am biased, but that I don't like Dagestanis. It's true that that I'm not a big fan of Dagestani wrestlers, but I'm a fan of Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev knows to strike too. So I'm actually, as a fan of Magomed Ankalaev, saying this, and it's true that I'm not biased towards Dagestani wrestlers. It's true that I don't like them too much. That is absolutely true. But I'm a big fan of Ankalaev, so there is a possibility that Jan Blachowicz won the first 3 rounds. There is a possibility. I'm not saying he won, but I'm saying there is a possibility. Calf kicks made significant amount of damage. Ankalaev was limping. Then Ankalaev won round 4, and maybe they gave 10-8 to Ankalaev in round 5 because he was out grappling Blachowicz. It was a dominant performance. But I don't know how it ended in a split draw. I was pretty much surprised that this bout ended in a split draw, as the way I was scoring, maybe draw is fair. Maybe draw is fair to some extent, but I was thinking that Ankalaev won the fight. That's how I think it happened. I do believe. Kind of hard to give Blachowicz the first 3 rounds. It's kind of a bit hard. I mean, I could give Blachowicz round 2, round 3, 100%. About round 1, I was unsure. About round 4, Ankalaev clean victory. About round 5, Ankalaev, I gave Ankalaev 10-9. I didn't give Ankalaev 10-8 for that round. I mean, Blachowicz rocked him on many occasions, and he hurt Ankalaev's peroneal nerve. You've seen those calf kicks were creating a significant amount of damage, so Ankalaev was limping. To some point, I can understand. Now, people are going to attack me, say, you know nothing about MMA, what the heck do you know, etc. But I'm going to tell you one thing. How not I know nothing when I was right for almost every single fight. That's something I don't understand. Now, when it comes to rules, damage is criterion number 1. And I do understand that Blachowicz made more damage in round 2, that Blachowicz made more damage in round 3. About round 1, I was unsure. About round 4, Ankalaev was grappling. Ankalaev dragged him to the canvas and then punched him on the ground. So round 5, it was a total domination of Magomed Ankalaev, but I wouldn't score it 10-8 for Ankalaev. Maybe 10-9 for sure, but maybe some judges scored at 10-8 or however. But overall, great card. 11 out of 12 predictions, 3 out of 4 bets. But I didn't lose any money because when it's a draw, my bookie refunds the money. So when it's a draw, my bookie refunds the money, and that's pretty much nice on my bookie. But technically, 3 out of 4 bets, 11 out of 12 predictions. I'm glad that I helped many people. Good luck, guys. I mean, catch you later. I'll have one detailed video where I will explain why Paddy Pimblett didn't win the fight.